Hi everyone, I'm Michael Hughes. I'm an El Paso Realtor. We're here at the Home Pros Real Estate office.
Hi, and I'm Nick Talley. I'm a lender with Gold Financial.
So we want to talk about two things in this video. The first are the VA loan limits for next year, and what does that really mean? I've made a couple of videos about this already, but we really haven't got to dive deep into some actual scenarios and what that really means for VA borrowers in the future. So Nick, can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So starting January 1st, 2020, there's going to be a couple changes with the VA home loan.
Okay.
First, the limits, the normal limits that apply to a VA home loan, which are the Freddie Mac conforming loan limits.
Right.
They're no longer going to be in effect.
Okay.
So after January 1st, you don't have to worry about the 484,350 if you're going to buy your single family home, or higher if you're going to go up to that fourplex that you're able to buy with the VA home loan.
Okay.
Also, there will be a slight increase in funding fees in regards to the VA loan as well.
Okay.
So I can go over a couple of scenarios, which I think most people will fall into in regards to this change. So the first scenario, if you've never used your VA home loan before, okay, and you have what's called full entitlement, then you don't have that loan limit and you can buy up to $1 million house if you want to. And the VA will guarantee that up to 25%, giving the bank the opportunity to lower its risk and fund your loan.
Okay, so basically you're saying I can buy $1 million home with no money down if it's my first time using the VA loan
That
next
is
year.
correct, yes.
Okay.
Second scenario, if you currently have a VA home loan and you want to purchase another property,
okay,
then the loan limits from previous or from currently that are in place right now are still in effect. And you would have to find the difference between the entitlement that you are currently using now and whatever's left over in order to fund that home.
Okay, so I think this is a key point because a lot of people think next year that they can just have an endless stream of properties and buy and buy and buy. But you're saying that's not really the case then next year. Those loan limits are still in effect for any subsequent purchases, basically.
That's true, and you can go over those limits,
yeah,
but the VA will require you to provide 25% of the difference in order to over the limit and in order to fund that loan. So a third scenario, you currently have a VA home loan.
Okay.
You're moving, you want to sell your current home and buy a new home. If you want to do that, then you would sell your initial home, you would regain your full entitlement, and then you can buy your new home with no loan limits.
No
applied.
cap limits, okay, yeah, cool. So what are some of these lesser known facts say about funding fees, loan limits, things like that?
Okay, let's talk about the funding fees first.
Okay.
So for your first use, if you're at active duty, it is 2.15% of your loan amount.
Okay.
If you were National Guard or Reserve, that's 2.4%. Now, if it's your second use or your subsequent use, it goes up to 3.3% of your loan amount. Now, this will change in 2020, and
okay,
it'll go up a little bit.
Right.
There. Also, another little known fact is that you are not required to put a down payment for a VA home loan. You could provide a down payment, which would also lower your VA funding fee. It could be to 1.25%.
Okay, cool. So let's say if I'm coming back from a deployment, for example, I know some people ask me this, they're coming back from a deployment, they have some money saved up. So that could actually save them a little bit on that funding fee, along with giving them some equity.
Yeah, if you were going to put that money towards the principal of your loan anyway,
yeah, exactly,
might as well get a little break from the funding fee.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
pretty good. That can save people literally a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
So can you talk to me a little bit about, let's say I'm in El Paso, and instead of buying a single family home, I'm looking to buy a triplex or a quadplex. How does that change the loan limits, for example?
Okay, so currently, the loan limits for a single family home versus a triplex or even up to a quadplex, those limits increase. So you actually have a higher limit for a triplex compared to a single family. As we had talked before, starting in 2020, those limits disappear unless you are currently using that entitlement.
So I think most borrowers know that the VA is not actually making the loans, it's made by each individual bank. But can you talk to our audience about how the VA guarantees a loan and what are sort of the specifics of that process?
Okay, so Yeah, as you said, it's the bank that is providing the loan. The VA just guarantees a portion of the loan, 25% to be exact, in order to reduce risk for the bank, in order for the bank to feel more comfortable in funding that loan.
Okay, so you're saying if I'm buying a $400,000 house, the VA is actually not guaranteeing all 400,000. They're just guaranteeing 100,000 of that loan.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, interesting. Nick, thank you for your time. And you shared a lot of great knowledge with our audience. Things are constantly changing with the VA loan. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, or if you're looking for a good recommendation for a realtor in your local area, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any questions about lending, feel free to reach out to Nick. Thanks.